did you know that we can live in heaven on earth, meaning that we can still be alive, our physical body is not dead yet, and we can have a heaven on earth experience. This means that we're at pure love, pure light. In the Toltec tradition, it's actually believed that it's better to get to heaven before you die. There are practices and rituals and routines that you can develop for yourself to at least know how to get there, or get there sometimes, or at least know that it's possible to be at a state where you're in love, you know? Heaven on earth to me is when you're living in a state that there is no conditional love. You're fully accepting everyone and yourself how it is. You are fully loving everyone without any conditions. You don't have any attachments to your beliefs, or you're not attaching your beliefs to your identity. There's so many things that go into it, but that's just like a short thing of what I think heaven on earth is. There is no shame in you, sins attached to you that you think you're doing wrong, and you're just free. Your mind's free, your soul's free, and it helps you become love. That's how I see it. Or you could also see it as like your vibration is so high, and one of the highest forms of vibration, so if you look at the scale of consciousness, basically love is one of the highest vibrations that you can be at, and above that is enlightenment. And so that's how I see heaven on earth. The Christian religion, and if you look at the Buddhist religion, or maybe the Hindu religion, to sum it up, they're kind of saying the same thing of what heaven is. Basically, you need to let go of your karma or your sins to be able to reach that state. Interpret karma and sins so almost as the same thing. And so whether you forgive yourself for your sins or you're releasing karma to get to heaven, I see it as the same. That can be through forgiving yourself or letting go of attachments to people or identities and things that you did wrong in your past, but also forgiving others. So living without hate in your heart towards other people or shame towards yourself. Because with those things, it causes you to live in hell on earth, because you're constantly thinking. We're always constantly thinking, the monkey mind, you know? And so if you're constantly thinking of these shameful, hateful, angry, lustful things, you're in hell. And these thousands of thoughts a day, and it's creating hell on earth for us. People are literally living in hell. The majority of the world is living in hell. Even me sometimes. I'm trying to get out of hell, you know? So one of the things that I believe bring people to hell is our mind. And with our mind, it's hard to control. We constantly have thoughts that are continuously going, unless we become aware that we do. And then we have to figure out, okay, how do I stop these thoughts? So I believe that the first step, and this is how actually has been one of the hardest for me, is to learn how to be more aware and more present of our surroundings, but also of ourselves. Being aware of what is that overlying thought that we have that isn't serving us. And also, how do we release it? Release it back to the world, because if you don't need it, then why have it? And so that's one thing I think, if you get into learning how to be more present and more inside of your body instead of inside of your mind. I used to go through life a lot daydreaming and just overthinking things, just not even really being there to the point where I can even feel my body when I'm doing things, you know? So I think learning how to be more present and just focusing on your breath and focusing on items that are in front of you when you're out in places quiets the mind. It quiets the mind and allows you to be free for those seconds. Number two thing, which is also something that I continuously struggle with once I peel back the layers, I feel like growth and self-transformation is just a continuous game. You're always peeling back layers just to find more layers, and it's fun. It's fun. It's honestly fun. I feel like, I mean, there might be a point. I believe that anything's possible, so there is a point that you get to where you're just like, wow, you're just there, you know? But I also feel like life is a never-ending test and a never-ending game and a never-ending process where you're continuously learning things and unlearning things. So for me, in my experience, like when I'm trying to release, did I say it yet? Number two is to release attachments. I don't know if I said that yet. Yeah, so I don't even know if I said that. Wow, I got excited. So number two is releasing attachments, and this is attachments to, I said this before in a video, but it gets complex depending on how you look at it. So it can be attachments to people, attachments to beliefs, and attachments to everything. And so I'm reading this book right now called The 5 Levels of Attachment, and it's basically talking about how people attach to certain things, beliefs, ideas, in 5 different ways. So sometimes you can make it part of your identity, you can personify it. So for example, in the book it talks about the Super Bowl, how sometimes people go into the Super Bowl really attached to their team winning, to the point where if their team loses, their whole week is sad, their whole week is miserable over something that they have no control over. So they attach so hardcore to that team that they made that belief their identity. So there's different levels of attachment when you don't really care much, you're good without it, and then it gets deeper to where you think that team is you, to the point where you can't even associate with people who have different beliefs than you. It could be in any, topic that you can imagine, right? I think releasing attachment avoids a lot of arguments, a lot of sadness, a lot of anger that isn't needed, and also a lot of pain and a lot of suffering. So just like the Buddha said, the root of all suffering is attachment. And that is a very human thing, attaching to things, identifying with things. One of the first concepts that babies grasp is mine. Mine. Babies love to say what's theirs. And that has definitely been a struggle for me. I like to accept people. And there's just some things that I believe strongly. And I always have to come back and remember, what? Sometimes I'll believe something, like me not eating meat or dairy, for example. Sometimes I'll believe something so strongly and I'll think, well, this is what's best for people because scientific facts show it, right? I accept everyone's religion. I think that there is no one true religion, and that they all have their little truths in them that kind of align with each other. But you know what? We're all just humans on this world that we don't really have any proof of. That's what I think about a lot when I'm with different meditations or medicine, that like all these different philosophies that add up, but in reality, it could just be all in our brain. Not even anything spiritual. Which sometimes does bum me out. So, I don't know. I like to learn a lot about the spiritual side and the scientific side, which is starting to actually coincide with each other. They are actually starting to help each other. So that's pretty cool. Especially with consciousness and things like that. The story goes like this. There was an angry tyrant running into a village to hurt the people. And all the people of the village started to flee. They started to leave the village. And as everyone left, there was one person that stayed, and that was a monk, and he stayed in his monastery. When the evil tyrant found out that there was one person that stayed behind, he got very furious. He got upset, and he went to the monk. He went up to the monk, and he said, "Do you not know who I am? I can take out my sword and cut you in half and not even blink an eye." And the monk, he quietly said to the man, "Do you know who I am? You can take out your sword and cut me in half, and I won't even blink an eye." So what does that mean? That is basically acceptance at its core. That is acceptance of everything. Acceptance of knowing you're going to die because our time is going to come. Or also just acceptance of things we cannot control or the way people treat us. So that monk accepted the fact that he may die that moment so much that he didn't even leave his monastery, because he had this non-attachment to life. He had this non-attachment to what should or shouldn't be done. And so I think that is key to living in heaven on earth. And so we have to remember that attachment is in many forms. It's hundreds of thousands of ways that you could be attached to different things and concepts and people and it just could be anything. Like, I can't even explain everything. Something that I was really attached to was the fact that people shouldn't go to school and work all their lives and then when they're old retire. I was like telling people when I was younger in high school, I'm like, are you dumb? Like, why would you want to work all your life? Like, we need to adventure, we need to do this and that. Like, I was like, I didn't even associate myself with people that didn't want to own a business or make some sort of income outside of a job. Like, I didn't even want to associate with people that weren't like that. Like, I was like, these people are just being used. And now I realize that like everybody's on their own path, and some people just don't agree, and some people maybe they do but they can't take the leap. Whatever the case is, like, just letting them flow, letting them live their life in their life book how it's meant to be lived. And mine is just different, and yours is just different. That's just how it is. A few other things I would say that help me live in heaven on earth occasionally, and I try to, I'm just gonna name out a couple. just, not going too in depth in them, but it would be to remove toxic people from your life. Anybody that's causing a lot of confusion, anybody that's lying a lot, anybody that's hurting you, remove them. And then I would also say getting back to your natural state. So as you know, humans are animals and animals from Earth. So that would mean to go outside more, be outside more, and to just take a walk, take a bike ride, take a stroll, or just go on a picnic if you don't want to do physical activity. So another thing would be to educate yourself on whatever it is that you're trying to. So for example, me, I like to read books on healing childhood traumas, consciousness, psychology, healing in general, or letting go, things like that. So maybe educating yourself on those things, and they'll give you more practices to do. Or just, again, how I always say, taking time alone. Taking time alone, meaning even away from things. So your phone, your friends, just taking time alone when you're just completely alone. It gets really awkward in the beginning, and then you just love it. You need your alone time after that. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. This is just a short video to say hello, and I know I haven't been on here in such a long time that I was actually just like, I don't know, I was gonna make a video that was explaining the Wu Wei, and so basically that's like the intention of no action, the action of no action, and so I was like, you know what, like, who am I lying to? There's no point, because I do believe in Wu Wei, I do, but that is of course not what I was doing. That was just me. I was going through a period where I just like, I don't know, I just didn't want to do anything, and I didn't really do anything for like a month. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna make that video. Maybe it's the moon giving me this energy, and I've been receiving a lot of signs from my angels just pushing me and telling me like, this will pay off, you're gonna help people, you're gonna reach people, and that just to go for it, because I do believe in myself, and I think that when people believe in themselves, anything is possible, even going to the moon. That's how I see life. I think anything, I honestly just, I don't know, I just think anything's possible. But it's just like, I just had a feeling that, I guess, insecurity or feeling not worthy of people's attention, and so that's something for me to heal and get through. But that is why video has not came out yet, and that is the life update. So yeah, now I'm getting back into trying to come back to heaven, and that's where we're at. So I hope you like this video. If you're not subscribed yet, subscribe. Check me out on Instagram or TikTok. Like this video, share it with your friends, share it with your mom, share it with your cat or your dog, share it with your, I don't know, some flowers maybe, if you have any at home. Let them know what's up. And yeah, I'll see you guys. Wait, if you have any YouTube ideas, if you have any video ideas or questions or any type of topics you want me to touch on with my experience or my opinion, just drop it down below, and like, I'll make a video on that. Let me know what you all want to see, and yeah, just let me know. Peace.